Hi there, Internet. I'm Polar the Polar Bear, and this is my girlfriend, Melissa.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Horribear. Later tonight, we're going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and there will be a movie review on that. But this afternoon, we're doing the Carrie review.
The
And
remake.
the remake, the 2013 Carrie, yeah. Um, what do
Brief
we.
synopsis with no spoilers.
Right. Okay. So we're doing this a little differently this time. We're gonna do we're gonna keep the beginning here spoiler free, and then at the like somewhere around the midpoint we're gonna tell like give you a spoiler warning, and then we're gonna go into specific stuff. We're gonna try to keep this first part spoiler free here. So do you want me to give the synopsis? Do you want to give the synopsis?
So I'm cool, whatever.
Oh, you go ahead. You give the synopsis, and then I'll.
Alright, so the synopsis basically follows a girl, a high school aged girl. I think they reference that they're in their senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And her name is Carrie.
Mhm.
And,
If you couldn't guess.
spoiler alert, her name is Carrie. So it follows her, and she basically is kind of outcast girl that nobody.
She's awkward because of like her she's very sheltered, so she
Yeah.
doesn't know a lot of the stuff that the regular kids know, and they give her crap about that because kids are awful.
So yeah, she's the kind of the outcast girl, and it chronicles her and kind of her like what her home life is like and what her school cat
Kind of what Lenny.
and what her school life is like, and it's just kind of really like a sad story for a girl you really feel sorry for. And then it kind of goes in, there's a little bit of supernatural undertone to it, which we'll get into further.
Yeah, there's some supernatural stuff to it.
But basically, the plot kind of centers on her kind of being tormented by a specific group of people, more so like a specific couple of people.
Yeah, really, it's one person. There's one person and like her boyfriend, but her boyfriend's only really in it
Yeah.
because
And then it kind of escalates from there and turns into kind of a
horror movie.
horror-y, supernaturally type movie. So,
Yeah.
and it's pretty evenly split. The first half is not that, and then the second half kind of.
Yeah, they did a good job. The pacing was good.
So, I think that's really just the brief synopsis.
Yeah, that's the brief kind of spoiler-free synopsis and acting. So her cat is being adorable right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and pet that cat while I talk.
He's playing with the lights on the wall behind us.
So she and I kind of differ on the acting. I thought the acting in a lot of cases was sort of wooden. I felt that Carrie herself did a good job, and I felt that Tommy, and I don't know what his actual name is, but the blonde girl's brother, and you'll know or boyfriend, sorry, the blonde girl's boyfriend. You'll know what I mean if you see the movie, but like, did a good job. But I thought I think this is the one part where we kind of agree. I think that blonde girl was really just very Kristen Stewart, no emotion, stone faced, like, and she didn't seem like she was she was supposed to be that kind of character either.
No, her name was Sue something.
Susan or Sue Ellen or
something like that. It was like, I remember thinking it was like an old lady name, even though she was a young girl. Like they called her like Sue, which you don't really hear like high school girls now named Sue.
Yeah, yeah, Susan, Susanna. Sue, yeah.
So yeah.
And she was kind of stone faced. Then I felt the mother's performance was kind of Carrie's mother was kind of stone faced, but that may have just been what that seems like it was almost supposed to be that way.
Yeah, I think so. The mother was played by Julianne Moore, which I mean I know of her because she tends to be in like Oscar-nominated kind of drama movies,
artsy
generally,
movies,
and so I like those movies.
She likes artsy films.
So I've seen her in a lot of stuff, and I like her acting, and I thought she did a good job. Just the character was an odd character to play, so like you said, the whole movie kind of had an awkward tone to it.
The whole movie just throughout feels kind of just awkward, a little bit uncomfortable, and
so.
I mean, were there any other like? I thought the one girl, the villain girl, was really over the top.
Yeah, the girl who played like the cliche like high school bitch girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really over the top, and she didn't have any she wasn't really memorable as an actress. She did a good job playing a person you grew to hate throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you really really, really hate the character. So she did a good job in that sense.
She did a good job being an awful person, but like almost too much of an extent. Like
yeah, everything was really
overblown.
yeah, a lot of it was over. Like the mother was like really religious, and that was really
Oh, that was
over
played
the
so
top.
like I don't think she spoke not in Bible verse at any point.
So yeah, that was really over the top, and then
And this
everything
is
just seemed pretty exaggerated as far as acting goes.
and this is based on a story by Stephen King.
Yes.
Or was it
Stephen King.
It was okay. I thought it was King or Carpenter. I thought it was King.
Yeah. And they did an original one, I think, in the 70s, which
which is a classic movie.
It is, and if you've seen the original, this isn't an exact remake of the original. It differs. They add a little bit of plot to it that's not from the original.
But like I just and that's probably how King wrote that character, like the mother. But I felt, at least for screen, it was a little bit much. She just seemed I don't know. She seemed to have it like it didn't feel like she was a person. It felt like she was more of a caricature.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know, like really everyone else did just baseline acting job, just kind of jobbing it. I didn't see anybody who was a particularly good actor, particularly bad actor. Everyone else sort of existed. I mean, even that girl who was like her, stalwart companion, like the gym teacher or whatever, wasn't an exceptional actress, but wasn't like a bad actress either. She was just kind of there. And I really liked the principal, but he also wasn't a particularly good or bad actress.
There was nobody who acted really well or really. I mean, it was pretty lackluster for the acting. It wasn't nothing spectacular.
Again, I thought Carrie did a good job, and I thought if her mother was supposed to be that way, she did a good job too.
She was.
But those were the only two really exceptionally acting jobs that I noted. Do you remember what Carrie's actress's name was? Can you? Yeah. While she gets that, let's see where. Overall impressions. Yeah, we're kind of trying to structure these so they don't end up being the last one we did. We literally gave like the entire plot and ended up being an hour and 10 minutes, and we don't want to do that because it's kind of boring to watch. So.
All right. The girl who plays Carrie is Chloe Grace Moretz.
So Chloe Moretz, basically.
Chloe Moretz.
Or Chloe?
Chloe.
I
promise you it's Chloe.
It's Chloe, but with like a umlaut over the E.
It's Chloe.
Yeah, so she was a good actress, I felt. And she's been acting. You said she's been acting since she was like 9.
She was a child actor.
Okay, so but yeah, like overall impressions. I really liked the movie. I just found it very like I found it sad. I really thought it was kind of less of a horror movie. Like I didn't feel. I mean, there were supernatural elements to it, but I didn't get that horror movie vibe from it. It was really kind of more of a drama with supernatural elements, and it was really sort of just sad, I felt. I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of agree, actually. It was quite sad. And I'll get into this more when we get into the spoiler part, but
right, yeah.
You really felt bad for Carrie and kind of
hated most other characters.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It was just really sad. I felt bad for Carrie, and like, I don't know. It was quite sad, and I think it's one of those things that can ring true because I think a lot of people in high school feel like awkward and have that, and so
but not to that extent.
But it's easy to empathize with if you've ever felt even remotely like that.
Yeah.
You can put yourself in that place. So I think that was kind of what it was too. Like I've had moments where I might have felt like awkward or not cool in high school.
Me too. That was most of my high school career, honestly.
And so it was really easy for me to totally like see how I would feel in her place, and I think that's why is because it's really realistic. Like the people were harsh to her in a way that people would be harsh. Like honestly, high school nowadays is awful.
I haven't been to high school recently, but
it's awful. I've heard stories. It's awful. So
people just need to be killed.
So unfortunately, like that's what's sad about it is it's not like,
See, I thought that was like because I was in high school and I caught like no end of shit, but I don't remember it being that bad.
It's different for girls.
Fair enough.
And yeah, girls are worse. Guys bully, but on like a really
basic level.
On a basic level, and it's really easy to kind of figure that out. But girls bully on a just manipulative,
deep psychological level.
Yeah, just deep psychological level. So the girl bullying is like emotionally intensely awful. And so I thought that was pretty realistic. Not that anything that's happened to her has happened to me, but I just, I think I've seen people be treated in a similar manner for other things. So.
Yeah. So I guess, so now before we go into spoilers, we're going to say whether or not we recommend seeing the movie. So that way, you can, if you want to see the movie, you can just not watch the rest of this video if you don't want it to be spoiled for you. And personally, I overall like the movie. I'd recommend seeing it. Yeah, I'd recommend seeing it.
Yep, I would too. I would recommend seeing it. I didn't read the book. I know it's a book.
I didn't either, and I'm not going to. Not interested.
Maybe someday. I like Stephen King, but
she's the reader among the two of us. I don't read words.
But I just I've never read it, and I may someday read it.
If you do, let me know how it is.
Yeah, I've seen the original movie. We both have a while back, but we've both seen the original.
Yeah, I think I've seen the original movie a couple of times actually.
So yeah, I would recommend seeing it, and I would say, especially if you've seen the original, I think it's worth a watch because it's kind of cool to see it, reimagined.
Brought up into it's like
modern times.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the Evil Dead remake, but it's not at all. No, we still need to do that. Maybe we can do that tomorrow.
So yeah, I recommend it, and I guess spoiler alert.
Okay, spoiler alert now. And I think I already said shit once, but just
language alert.
Extra language alert. Yeah. So now we're gonna get into specific details. So if you don't want specific details, if you want to go see it yourself, go see it. We both recommend it. Otherwise, let's get into it. Let's get into specifics.
All right. So likes and dislikes. So.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Again, I haven't been girl bullied, but I thought, like, I've seen like the anti-bullying videos and like the people being bullied because they're different sort of videos on the internet, and like it's always taken to like the most extreme possible place, which. Like I kind of know how that is because I got no end of shit. Like I was F with every day pretty much in middle school and most of high school. So yeah, I lived in California and was a like chubby, unpleasant looking white guy. So you can imagine how much fun that was for me.
I think you're pleasant looking.
Well, I know you do. Most people don't though. But. Like, I just don't believe it. It's too much. It's too extreme. You're trying so hard to drive home the point that you devalue it, I feel.
See, and the thing is like, because it's a remake of the original, like, basically what happens is she gets her period, and she's in, like, a communal shower after
she's in the girls' shower room.
She gets her period, and she doesn't know what it is, so she thinks she's dying, so she, like, runs out all bloodied.
And like, screaming.
Like, screaming for help, so thinking she's dying, and so it's, like, really sad, and you feel sad, because nowadays, that's really, I mean, I guess that could happen, because they referenced her being homeschooled,
there are parents who are crazy enough to keep their children like through high school completely oblivious to anything, which is sad, and they should.
Awful. But the thing is nowadays, at least when I was in school, and I really don't think they make you shower communally anymore. But because the original movie and book and stuff came out in the 70s, that was a thing that happened.
Right.
So
there are some throwbacks to the 70s.
Yeah. So nowadays, I don't think that. That would really be a thing. Like, people would make fun of her and treat her like shit, but they wouldn't.
Shower communally?
But there wouldn't be communal shower happening.
Okay, so she gets her period, she's in the shower, she gets her period, she's bleeding, and, like, they start throwing tampons at her and chanting, "Plug it up." And, like,
that would totally happen.
The whole girl shower, like, but she's, like, obviously, okay, either one of two things would happen. Either someone would put a stop to it, which eventually someone does. But, like, either eventually someone would put a stop to it, or she would realize, hey, I'm the only one freaking out here. Obviously, this isn't that bad. And, like, go like, all right, so what's happening?
And see, I disagree. I think that she was freaked out and everybody shouting at her was freaking her out more. So I think that was believable.
Could be.
In my opinion.
It seems a little much to me.
And there are, and I really think I think the bullying is not far off from how people are.
I haven't been to. I know that people are awful, but I don't know. That seems like it just seems that everyone is out to get, like, just really maliciously out to not. It's not even the scene in the shower. Like, through the whole movie, like, people literally dedicate, like, portions of their lives to effing with this one girl just because she's weird.
I mean, that is overplayed. I think the instance in the shower isn't necessarily too overplayed. But
right. That might happen, but, like.
But throughout the whole movie, like, she can't walk down the hallway without every single person, like, stopping and snickering at her or commenting or whispering.
Right.
And really, the one person who's not even, like, who's, portrayed as such a loser that no one cares about her wouldn't get that much attention in real life.
Yeah,
from the entire school.
That's true. She might have, like, one or two people who, like, specifically want to F with her, but yeah, there's a cute cat over there. But, like, And so the whole shower thing, somebody takes a video of it, and that was kind of another thing I had. Somebody took a video of that and posted it on, like, YouTube, which, alright, you have YouTube, you're in modern day. Like, YouTube is not that old. I know that we, like...
I know, the movie's modern.
Yeah, but, like, I have to imagine, like, even if you're kind of an outcast, even if you leave your house long enough to go to high school, aren't you going to find out what a period is? That's kind of...
Well, the thing is they don't teach you that in high school. They teach you that before high school.
No, they don't teach you that in high school. But you know who might teach you that? Every human being who ever lived and is nearby you.
What if no one talks to her? Like, I think that's perfectly plausible.
I think it's very unlikely.
I think it's perfectly plausible considering how crazy her mom was.
Well, yeah, her mom's a crazy bitch, truly.
Like, I mean, the movie opens up with the mother giving birth to her, and the mother
almost stabs her with a pair of scissors.
Like, she doesn't know what's happening, and then all of a sudden a baby pops out. Like, she was a grown woman who had a baby.
Yeah, that's true. Her mother was messed up too.
And she seemed surprised, like she had no idea. She thought she was dying, and she was like praying to like go to heaven, and then a baby pops out, and she realized, oh, I just had a baby, and she looked like she had no idea what that meant, what that was. So if her mother made it that long without knowing what a baby is or how you have a baby, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Either that or she was just in denial.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. They didn't really go in depth on that.
It's not just a river in Egypt anymore.
So yeah, I agree. It was. They did it with high school. Like, high school movies nowadays are so just like everything is over caricaturized. Like, like the jocks, the popular people.
There are some people who are like that. I just don't think you have an entire school worth of people that are like that.
You see that in movies a lot nowadays. Like, everyone is just so over the top.
That doesn't make it right. There are a lot of shitty movies out right now.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I don't think that's realistic, and I don't think that's not an accurate portrayal of high school. Like, yeah, you have stereotypes for a reason, but everyone's not, like, so over the top.
Yeah.
Into the stereotypes, like, and yeah, I don't think that realistically someone who's, not cool and doesn't have any friends isn't gonna be such a big focus in so many characters' lives.
So many, like, the whole school really gets in on tormenting her, except for like 3 people. One guy who shows her how to enlarge a YouTube video, who she later kills with a table for some reason.
Yeah.
The blonde girl, who I don't think ever actually speaks to her, except to throw a tampon at her at one point.
You mean the blonde girl?
Yeah, the blonde.
At the end, remember? Because she goes to her house.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, no, I mean, like, before that, though. Yeah, they have that final climactic, like, thing, but before that, they don't ever actually speak. And her boyfriend, and that is another big gripe I have with the movie.
So, before we get into that, we both really like revenge movies.
Oh yeah, I love revenge movies.
So we were excited when we were about halfway through the movie and the revenge part was coming up.
Yeah, because
we
knew we've seen the first one and like we know how this ends, kind of.
So so it was very good in that respect, but I mean, I don't know if ever you should know this just because it's so iconic. Like even if you've never seen Carrie, you have to know that Carrie gets pig's blood dropped on her at the prom. Like that's such a
and this
iconic thing.
In this movie, that was orchestrated by the one villain girl character who like really just apparently has no other ambition in life except to torment this one particular girl.
Because she couldn't go to prom.
Well, no, but she was the one who started the whole
everything.
tampon thing. She was the one who posted the YouTube video, and like,
It just escalated so quickly, though. Like, she got so upset, like, to get the pig's blood, they went and murdered a pig. Like...
Right. She took her, like, criminal 35-year-old boyfriend and went and, like, killed a pig with a sledgehammer so they could get pig's blood to dump on her at the prom.
It was pretty, like, she just went kind of batshit crazy.
And not only that, but she orchestrated with, like, the rest of the school. Like, she got the person to rig the votes so that Tommy and Carrie would be the prom king and queen so that they would be in the right position to get blood dumped on her.
Yeah.
And just, like, Captain Planet villain levels of detail.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little, again, I'm not a lady, but I think that's a little bit much.
Oh, that's much, yeah. I mean, the pig's blood thing, that's pretty over the top. Like, I don't think that happens.
Which she almost, I don't know if you noticed at the end, but she almost seems to not want to do that for a second.
She does, but then the boyfriend's like, you know, we're doing this. Like, this is a criminal act we're committing.
Because they'd already gone that far, so there's really no good reason not to dump the pig's blood on her at that point, except to not be terrible human beings.
So yeah, they dump the pig's blood, and pretty shortly after dumping the pig's blood, his favorite part in the entire movie happens.
Yeah, okay, so just, people in this town apparently are just made of glass, because Tommy, keep in mind, Tommy is the star lacrosse player for this school. He's a big, buff dude who, like has a forehead that you could land a plane on, and he gets killed by the empty bucket of blood that falls on him from maybe a couple of feet up and hits him on the top of the skull.
And he dies instantly.
He dies instantly. It's not like he doesn't go into a coma. He doesn't have a concussion. He's just instantly dead.
Like eyes open on the ground, dead.
Like, no, I'm sorry. That's not how buckets work, and that's not how gravity works. It was an empty metal bucket. Yeah, it was a metal bucket, but it wasn't a bucket with like a rock in it. It was just an empty metal bucket. It's not gonna kill somebody. Not unless you drop it from like a plane. You can't. It drops a couple of feet.
You're so ranty.
Oh, it annoyed me so much because I knew it was contrived because the filmmakers were like, we have to kill him somehow so that she can have a little freak out. So let's just kill him with a bucket. And I felt that was really dumb.
So he dies, and basically from there,
it's a revenge movie because
it's a revenge movie.
She's got psychic powers. Like seriously, like if anyone's a fan of the Warhammer 40K universe, like top level psyker abilities that she can enact. Like she can literally pick up an entire room and just drop it. And like she's a pyrokinetic, she can burn stuff.
Yeah, and all she has to do is like squint.
Right, she doesn't even like she does this occasionally, but other than that, like yeah, she's just a super psychic all of a sudden.
So yeah, it goes into revenge mode, which is pretty cool. I mean, because honestly, like
they all had it coming pretty much.
Kind of awful.
The only person that we both took issue with her killing was the nice dude who just the only thing he did in the movie was show her how to use YouTube. He was never mean to her at all, and she just throws a table at him and he dies.
The teacher that had kind of bonded with her, she kind of saves her and pulls her up from the
electric. There are electrical wires and water, and she pulls her out of it and like deposits her on the stage with her psychic powers.
So basically, she kind of lights the whole school on fire. Not everyone dies in the school. Like, a lot of people escape from the school. Which
Yeah.
She had locked all the doors, so I'm not sure how that happened.
I
Also, out of nowhere, she just flew. Once.
Yeah,
Just
she-
once. She
she's-
picked herself up and kind of flew.
she just like did
Flew
this
away.
and just started flying.
Which was weird because it never happened again.
And it was a really bad CGI effect,
Came
like
out of nowhere.
green screen, and a lot of the movie's CGI was not that good. The fire effects were good, but most of the other CGI was not.
So that happens, and it's you'll have to watch it to find out. Like, I won't get into detail of it, but there's a really satisfying scene where the bitch girl and her like.
Oh, I'll get into we're into spoiler territory. I'll go ahead and get into detail on it. Before I do though, there's another people made of glass part in the movie where. She was thirsty. There's another like people made a glass part where there are these two girls who were like twins who were in on the tormenting her. I don't know if you remember this. And she like does that and knocks them both down like flat on their faces as everyone's trying to get out of the.
I remember that.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get out of kind of the auditorium where the prom is being held. And they just get like people step on them and they die. They get trampled to death, but not like. This wasn't like a soccer riot in Calcutta. This was just like a bunch of people trying to escape this prom building.
Maybe 20 people?
Yeah,
maybe.
well,
Didn't even step on them, but just ran by in total.
Yeah.
Maybe they got stepped on to like 10 people.
Yeah.
And some of the people had heels on, but they weren't, when they panned the camera back to them after everyone had left, they weren't bloody.
Well, there was like a little spot of blood on each of them.
They were just laying there dead.
Yeah.
Like, full on dead.
And that's like, yeah, people can get trampled to death. It has happened. It's happened in like riots and whatnot.
But your body's not perfectly intact.
Right. Yeah, no, they wouldn't have been just laying there dead. So that was another like stupid death that happened for. I mean, not like those two girls didn't totally deserve it, but couldn't she have just pushed them into like a rotating blade or something? Couldn't she have killed them with a table?
So yeah. So we'll get into that scene.
Yeah, do you want to get into that scene, or do you want me to get in that scene?
We can both get into it.
No, we can't.
At the same time.
No, we can't.
So there's a scene where the bitch girl dies, and
Thank God.
first her boyfriend dies because they're like, there's Carrie in the road, we're gonna run her over.
Yeah. So after all this, after they narrowly avoided this, like, at this point, by the way, Carrie has gone into like full on Zool. She can punch her hand into the ground and like create an earthquake rift that like drops entire sections of road into nothingness.
Yeah, random things keep exploding behind her.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, I mean, at that point, it's pretty over the top.
Right. And so, like, at this point, the bitch girl and her boyfriend are in a car and decide, like, they see her, and instead of doing the smart thing and just turning the fuck around and just run like hell, they're like, the bitch girl turns to her and goes, run her over. And
Kill her,
yeah, like, we've gone to all this trouble, may as well. We've already committed, like, theft and criminal assault and destruction of property. Let's go ahead and add murder. Why not? I mean, come on. The night's still young. So they decide to kill her, and they're going to run into her with the car, and Carrie's just like, nope. And the car stops, and the guy goes...
to the steering wheel.
Right into the steering. Like, his face just explodes. Like, there's blood.
It's kind of cool because they do it in slow motion, so you get to really see it. And I get the sense the movie was supposed to be 3D.
In 3D, and that was like blood was going to spurt out of the screen or something.
Yeah, so that was pretty good.
And you can tell them how that scene ends.
Well, then, the girl gets the idea that she realizes her boyfriend's dead, and she's like, I'm going to run her over still. Well, Carrie elevates the car.
It just picks it up
with her mind, and the girl's still hitting the gas, like...
trying to... Like, the wheels are still spinning.
Right. Like, in the air, she's going to somehow find traction and...
Yeah, just run into her from the air.
So she keeps doing that, and they're just, like, looking at each other and kind of having, like, a tense, staring contest with each other. And then you realize Carrie's standing behind a gas station, and Carrie lets the car go, and it smashes into the gas station. And it doesn't explode, which you think it's going to, but she walks up to the car, and you see that, and they also do this in slow motion, which is pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah.
Bitch girl's face. I don't even remember her name.
I don't either, but it
That's
goes, yeah, black-haired bitch girl.
Her face goes through the glass
in slow motion, it has
so
pieces sticking.
It just cuts her, and it's framing her face, and she looks like she dies pretty quickly because it looks like it just made her face look like hamburger meat.
Lacerations everywhere, and you think you'd be like, oh, that's terrible, but really, like, after all the shit that girl has pulled and how much of an idiot she is, by that point you're just like, yes, slow, painful death.
I think I turned to him and I was like, I don't think she suffered enough.
Yeah, I could have got. My words were, I think there could have been more barbed wire involved in that.
I would have been cool if the movie turned into like a hostile style like torture situation between the two of them.
That's the only time I think I'd advocate a hostile style torture movie was at the end of that with that particular character.
So after she dies, Carrie, I don't know, makes like a street lamp fall into the gas station, and it blows everything
The
up.
whole gas station just explodes.
So at that point, Carrie goes home and confronts her mother. Her mother
stabs her in the back.
And what does she do? Her mother at that point.
Well, at that point, okay, so throughout this movie, people have been so easy to kill. Like, the bucket the bucket hit the guy on the head, he just dropped dead like that. The two twins got trampled to death by like 10 people in prom garb. Wasn't even like a really fat guy ran over him. It was like skinny, attractive people. But like... I think at one point during we made the observation that the actress playing Carrie was really pretty, and I think we turned to each other at the beginning of the movie and were like, pretty people don't have these problems.
This is unrealistic already.
But yeah, so people have been just so easy to kill, and Carrie's mother attacks her, and Carrie is just like scared, and she's kind of like defense mechanism. Every sharp object in the house, scissors, knives, a metal ruler that's like a foot, like a yardstick, and like just impales her, literally crucifies her to the wall, and like a million sharp objects go into her chest, and she's still alive. She lives for like 5 minutes.
She does. She lives for a while. So Carrie then realizes she killed her mom, and she's a little freaked out. So at this time, blonde girl, who I like to call Stone Face.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart girl.
Blonde Kristen Stewart. She walks in, and she's like trying to talk Carrie down, like, Carrie, blah, 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 calm down.
Carrie, no, don't do this.
I mean, she's like the lady Keanu Reeves, like...
No, come on, bro. No, not cool.
So she's trying to talk her down, and Carrie's in shock. And Carrie does, like, the girl who plays Carrie does a good job, because she's very emotional and, like...
Yeah, absolutely.
Believable, but, So as the girl's trying to talk Carrie down, Carrie is using her telekinetic powers to make it rain rocks. Like
the beginning of Rose Red, if anybody's ever seen Rose Red.
Just a bunch of rocks, like pretty, look like
rocks, big rocks.
But they're pretty. They were like smooth, and they just look like rocks.
But there's no, like, she wasn't near a quarry or anything.
No,
so
they were just falling from the sky. Yeah, so I'm not sure where she got them.
She basically called in a rock storm from heaven with her mystical Carrie powers.
So she's raining rocks on the house to collapse it, and they're coming through, and Carrie touches the girl's stomach, and is like, it's a girl.
Right, because...
So blonde girl got knocked up by Bucket Boy.
Bucket Boy.
Blonde Kristen Stewart was pregnant with Bucket Boy's baby.
Right. And we knew she was pregnant because she threw up earlier in the movie, and any female who throws up in a movie is pregnant.
Pretty much. That's really how you tell.
Yep.
So yeah. So she realized she was pregnant, and Carrie's like, "Get out!" and she pushes her out to the street with her
Yeah.
telekinesis.
But like brings her down nice and gentle.
Yeah,
Because
she does a good job.
she was gonna hit the street and like break her head open. She was gonna hit the grass and die from hitting the grass with the back of her head because dirt's really hard in this town. But
So
she just kind of lets her down gently.
at that point, they have a really terrible, terrible CGI moment where
Yeah.
the house collapses, and there's literally like no rubble.
Right.
Like the house collapses, and it looks like someone just like stirred up someone's gravel driveway.
And it growls. The house
And it
growls as it
There's
collapses.
like a monster growling noise when it collapses.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awful. And then
Then the movie should have ended there, in my opinion. That should have been the end of the movie.
and I think the movie could have ended with Harry with Carrie's hand popping up out of the rubble. I would have liked that.
Yeah, she wanted like the protagonist is still alive kind of ending, but like
I would have been cool with that. And I want to say the first one ends.
I don't remember the
remember.
ending
I
of the
think
first
we should
one.
really watch that again because we both
Sure.
remember it very well. So anyways, it goes to like, the girl, she's like talking, I don't know who she's talking to, maybe having an inner monologue, the blonde Kristen Stewart, and she's reminiscing about how a lot of her friends died and blah blah blah.
And she goes to the graveyard to see Carrie's tombstone.
So you can see like, a lot of gravestones there with fresh flowers indicating the people Carrie did kill. And then Carrie's tombstone's there, and someone wrote like
it says Carrie White burns in hell, and someone conveniently just really helpfully put a down arrow on the bottom of the tombstone to indicate which way hell was, which was good for me because I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Well, no, I was like, how else would we know?
Oh, hell! Right, the
yes.
down one with the burning. Gotcha.
So she puts flowers on Carrie's grave, and then what I thought was a pretty shitty ending to the movie.
Really shitty ending.
The grave.
There's like a scream, and the grave cracks.
Cracks up the grave, and then there's like a scream, and so then you're like, is she
a ghost now?
Or does she's still alive underground? Like, I don't think that's possible. Is she like? We were a little baffled by that. I didn't like that. I'm wondering if you get the DVD, if there's not like an alternate ending, because I wouldn't be surprised.
I kind of hope so, because that was sort of a shitty ending.
Yeah, it was a pretty shitty ending, and so
the movie mostly is good, but that ending left me unsatisfied.
That was Carrie.
I still really liked the movie.
I didn't mind it. Yeah.
I give it. What do you give it? Like, what's your overall rating?
I like revenge movies.
I like revenge movies too.
It was quite sad. I would say like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't love it. It was above average, but it wasn't. It's not one of those movies I think I'd watch again.
I'd watch it again.
I mean, I might watch, but I mean, it's not one of those like I'd buy and want to watch all the time. Or
well, yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't put it on repeat in the background, but I watch it occasionally.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. But there was. I mean, as we're going through it, I'm realizing there's a lot more cons than there were pros to it, I think.
Well,
I think it could have been done better.
I think what it is was the cons were kind of more... there was a lot of good about the movie, but the cons were just really glaring cons.
Yeah.
Whereas the pros were kind of more subtle.
Yeah. So, I thought it was good. 6 out of 10. I don't know. Was that a little low?
I'm gonna give it a 7 personally. It's up to you though. I mean, you give it what you feel it deserves. But I honestly I give it a 7. I think it's a good story. I just think basically parts of it I feel were over the top. But I feel that the acting, specifically, and you said her name was Chloe
Moretz.
Chloe Moretz. I think her acting, because she was a really good character. I think that brought it up quite a bit. And I just feel she did a really good job bringing the character across. Also, Tommy, blonde Kristen Stewart's boyfriend, did a good job. And I mean, good acting can really, really bump a movie up. And I believed their characters, and that's worth a lot to me. I also like the story. I think it is sad, which is kind of what keeps it from being and it was awkward, and I don't like awkward movies. She likes awkward movies more than I do. I don't like awkward movies, so that brings it down a little bit too. But good acting, solid plot, really cool kind of revenge scenes at the end with like the crazy psychic powers going off. So
Yeah, that
se-
was cool.
7 out of 10 for me, and I definitely I totally recommend seeing the 2013 Carrie remake. So. And I think, unless you have something to add, I think that'll bring it. All right, so that'll bring us to a close on this episode of Horribear, and that's under 40 minutes. That's not bad at all, considering the last one was like 73 and was the entire plot of the movie. Oh God, there's a cat running across the couch. So thank you for joining us on another episode of Horribear. We're gonna be filming another movie review later this evening. But thank you for joining us for this episode of Horribear. I hope to see you guys again very soon.